So we're in a pretty good place here with Pyram. After yesterday, we got just the bulk of the glazing done on the face. We got some nice highlights, and now it's time to start picking off these final details. We didn't make as much progress as I would like to have on account of chit chat and kept covering like certain questions for people, but it was a good stream nonetheless. Pyram here just needs to take his auxiliary pieces to the next level. So we have to do something to the blade here. We're gonna pick out some details, mix up a nice gray, go from there. We're gonna also make the toes of his shoes and his little satchel here of what I can only imagine are stolen coin, and punch them up for vibrancy a little bit, a little saturated brown as opposed to this desaturated look we're getting. And we're gonna call them done. We're not taking these to some super duper level. I suppose we'll put something down here on the face as well. But they do look good, and pop us out. Get these resituated here, our other pieces. Okay, I like the brown we're using. I think we'll continue with that. This bloodstone is a very good brown. I think we'll continue to use the sanguine base as a nice shade for that. Possibly even the coal black that's in his shadows would look nice in the brown. So I'll get that mixed up as well. And then I guess we'll just go black and white to generate the gray for the brown. We have Baphomet rolling in. Says, hey Chris, how are you? I'm doing okay. How about yourself? I got a cool toy in the mail. Little vortex mixer. Thanks to everybody who donated in the past month. We hit the donation goal. And on account of a little bit of taunting from Nerd404 and Motor City Ray, and Ray's, on account of Ray being the cause of the bulk of the donation, we got what Ray wanted. I wanted one too. The Lab Genius Vortex Mixer. The thing is almost impossibly heavy for its size. Tactical, how is your mother doing today? Good morning. Look at this thing. Grab one of these inks that are pretty separated. This is the yellow I used for the Imperial Fists. Tactical says, Mom's doing good. They gave her a Xanax after her surgery, and she was fine. That's wonderful. None of that same trauma she was experiencing after the last one, I hope. How cool is that thing? Glue and bolters. We got Wolf Wraith rolling in, says morning all. We got glue and bolters saying morning, morning, morning. Firing them back. Thing's pretty cool, I don't know. So yeah, we were gonna mix up these colors again. I don't believe we'll need the Iosian green any longer. I think we're done with his sort of body tones. Definitely using the Menoth white base. Blood tracker. Tago says a little. I watched her practically limbo in thin air. Had to stand behind her whenever she got up. Well, that might just be because depth perception, everything else is off after the procedure. Might just be an effect of it for a little bit. And then of course, the sanguine base. Like I said, I don't know who else makes a purpley brown like this, or a purpley red. Might even be something to be mixed up out of a cold red. Hop on over to the palette cam. Laying down sanguine base. Cold black. Off this color here real quick. Yeah, you keep a good eye on her. That's tough. You know what I didn't get was white. I would need some more white for sure. I don't think I got any black out either. I'm a mess today. Also experiencing a terrible sniffle. How's everybody's week? Everybody's doing well, I hope. It's a long work week, and be excited to be on the other side of this thing, for sure. I'm glad her procedure went well. Let's see. Come down here. I'm gonna start mixing up that gray. Frith says, going well, thanks. I haven't got half the stuff I need to get done, but it's going. You working on anything fun, Wolfwraith? So I had some projects going the other day. He's such a fast painter, though. Just doing the same thing we did with the green, except for it's just more and more white to the mix. Alright, we're going to take a size 4. It's a good size brush here. Actually, I think we're going to start off with just a diluted, almost a glaze. All I do is dip my brush in some water. Yeah, so I just got a brush load of water to dilute this black a little bit. We're going to start there. First, has got another cyberpunk piece. This time a mech suit one, and started up a Bloodfield's warband of Titan Forge Mini's new tabletop game. Now that sounds like a blast. We're going to punch in real quick. There he is. This little cheeser here. So we're going to lay this thin glaze of black down. It's going to effectively give us a base to wet blend off of. I'm not worrying about cleaning my brush. I'm just rinsing the bulk of the paint out. I'm going to grab this middle color that we have here, because I kind of like it. It's fairly neutral gray. I'm going to make sure I get enough on the brush. It's a fairly large brush. I'm just going to start here. Yeah, right here. Like this. Bit brighter than I had it there. I think, yeah, we're going to go about 3/4 of the way up the blade. Make sure we have enough paint there. You can either grab a second brush or rinse this off. Make sure it's a little bit damp, and then we're just going to sort of erase this back a wee bit. This is an effect that I am not adept at doing. I'm trying to get better at. It always takes so much practice. What cyberpunk piece did you end up with that has a cool mech suit? I like cyberpunk stuff. Yeah, we're going to leave that transition a little bit stark, but it's a beginning. And then I'm going to take this brighter gray, and we're going to put it down here on the end, about halfway. I think that'll look nice. We'll grab this darker gray that we have here, and we're going to start here kind of like in that middle out. I was struggling to get the paint to deposit into such a small area, and so I've just kind of started stippling a little. We're going to leave the black there for the most part. I'm going to dilute this back to a glaze. We'll do it over here just because I'm running out of real estate. Again, we're grabbing this almost pure black that we have. Maybe make it a little bit darker. Get this mixed up. I see your comment, Wolfraith. I'll get there. I had a little black, oh too dark. I had a little white, oh too bright. Alright, now we have the right color. Let's get a brush load of water. Thirsty paint. We'll get some more water. Now I'm wondering if it's dark enough. Alright, let's check on our thumb. Yeah, that's a good color, but a little too thick. So this time I'm just adding some water to my brush. I'm not going to grab fresh paint because I keep missing the dilution marker. And let's see, again as always, we're going to just deposit that excess paint. Check on your thumb, nice charcoal kind of dark gray. And then we'll take this and smooth this into the black. There you go, one somewhat shiny stabber. We're going to do the same thing on the other side, but the opposite direction. So this side is going to be black down here and bright up here. Again, we're going to start with a mid-tone. Let's get some more neutral white into here. Tone, and of course we want that nice dark, just almost black, dark, neutral gray. How do we manage this? Dump my Menoth white base into my water cup. Silliness. Wilfred says a guy I've been following called Papskills? How's that said? S-I-K-E-L-S, Papskills. Over on Patreon, does loads of Netrunner Cyberpunk style minis to print. Oh, that's cool. So he's printing one up. We got Stickson. Hello. How are things? Is this a name change I'm seeing? This is a better color, I think. Alright. Get some actual amount of paint on the brush. Like I said from before, we're going to go 2/3. Leave it there. Let's go to the other side real quick. How are things this morning, Snickson? Just doing, again, the back side of the blade we don't need to be as dramatically cautious with. All good, sir, says Nixon, and clean a part of a figure. Okay. See how we get that 2/3, 2/3. And then I don't think I got a good enough coverage here, just because we're painting over black, so we're gonna give it a second coat. Right? Same thing here, second coat, and a second coat, and up in here it's so darn stark. Probably just leave that pretty dark. start with a brighter tone, a little bit more white. Yeah, that's pretty good. Again, we're going to start with this brighter tone up here. Oh, Ink's rolling in with alert. Good morning. Now that lower third. It's going to get a brighter tone on each one of these sections. We just do the opposite of whatever the situation is. So if we did the bottom on one side, we do the top on the other. Thanks as a headache. Oh. Hopefully your eyes are feeling better. Tactical was just in here saying that their mother's doing well after the procedures, so that's good too. Sorry about your head. Hope you feel better. I'm no good with headaches, It cause me a lot of discomfort. I'm no good. My wife is much better at handling that kind of pain than I am. I think this is finally at a drinkable temperature. See if we can come to life here. Alright. Now, we're going to step down in the size of brush. We're going to start glazing these together. Oh wait, I almost forgot. We got to grab the darker tone. Use whatever size brush you want for this, to be honest. And then I'm going to take, again, the same thing as those thirds. I'm noticing very quickly that there's not much difference between this color and my midtone. So I'm going to actually just mix up something a bit darker. Let's see how this one looks. Okay, that we can see. That's good. So now we can see that there are three colors. And here on the bottom, I'm going to do the same thing. This, I don't know if it's the white or the black, but one of them is very thirsty. I think it's the black. Because it did this to me yesterday too. It really wanted a little bit of water to be added. It just wasn't flowing per normal. I might add a little bit of my my mix that I throw into my airbrush into that dropper bottle just to add some life to it. And again, we already did this one, so we're going to flip them upside down. We're going to catch this inverted piece here. I overpainted quite a bit here from our, I talked about only doing a third of it or 2/3 of it. But we definitely painted pretty much all of it. So we'll just have to be smart and guesstimate. Use the other side as your reference point, maybe I'm trying to say. Let's try again. There we go. Now we're seeing a transition. George Hines, good morning and thank you so much for that follow. Welcome on in. Okay, so we have these transitions going here. And now, just like how we finished off the green from yesterday, where we went through and we located where down here, for example, we had a stark transition here, right where my brush is, there was a stark line. There's another stark line. And then we saw them on each corner of the triangle as we transitioned brighter and brighter. Just, it can happen with a rough wet blend, and the more rough, the more stark the line, right? And so we went over how to take an intermediate toned glaze and apply it directly to that line as we went through and fade it out. You can still see where the transition is, but it's smooth. I'm sure we can get it smoother with many, many more glazes, but I think for the purpose of this project, we're done with that. But we're going to do the same thing here with this blade. So I'm going to be grabbing that darker glaze that we mixed up from before. Get enough water in it this time. Again, we're over here on the paper towel to get rid of, because you can see how loaded up the brush is. This is what we're avoiding by dabbing it on the paper towel. So what I'm going to do, let me actually pull this up into focus. What we're doing with this is you take your paintbrush and you just drag it until it comes to a point. And what it's done is drawn out all that excess just overly loaded paint out of there. And so then when we come to our nail to check our dilution, well, in this case I've talked too long and I drew too much paint out of it, but so it's empty. But that's truly what you're after. So you might just dab it a little bit, a couple little dabs, and then so you still have some paint in it. But what you don't have is a paintbrush that's like loaded out with too much paint. And so we did these glazes here before, and those went over pretty well. Now let's come to this one. Let's be on camera. And because we're going with a darker tone, we start at the brighter piece and pull across into the darker part. Because darker colors cover more opaquely than brighter. Now we want the mid-tone. A little bit of water. Get rid of the excess. Check our tone. Experiment on the back to see how nice it is. Okay, it's good, I think, but it is too thin. So we're just gonna add a little more paint to the mixture here. Well, I would like to have, but there was nothing there when I added it. Excess out of my brush. That's a good tone. Okay. Stippling on either side of this line. Start to get a fade to happen. I think it's going to take a few coats, so we'll just put that down and go away from it for a little bit. Foxmeyer art coming in. Well, good morning, Foxmeyer, and how are you today? Morning. Hope everybody is doing well over on your side of things. How is the day? Let me grab our brighter tone. I'm not happy with how not highlighted we are right here. Tactical Booty. Hello, Raiders. Yes, hello, Raiders. Welcome. Add a little bit more highlight back here as well. Foxmeyer says, we're doing good. Feeling my allergies today, so low energy. Yeah, I've been apologizing for being gross. Breathing out of my mouth today quite a bit, and it's just the nature of this time of year. I think for me it certainly is. Hope you had a good stream and you get some relief from the allergies as the day goes on. Again, I guess I'm not certain what side of the day you're on. Mine are always worse in the morning. Let's check our... Oh, it's just noon. That's good. Transition there. We're going to come into that dark area and pull into the middle as well. So we're sort of fading both transitions towards the mid-tone. You see we have like a nice smooth gradient now. We'll need to bolden the highlight and the shadow, but the transition is smooth. We got Jex in the building. Jexter, good morning. Do the same thing over here now. Again, we're hitting each transition towards the middle with a glaze of the midtone. Foxmeyer says, but my deepkin are almost done. Just a few more hours on them and then the bases. That sounds wonderful. I haven't painted an army for myself in so long, and I'm really considering playing Tau. And a while ago, I had this whole idea. I'm like, I'm going to paint actual white armor. Nobody paints it because it's super hard to paint. But then I did some battle damage to it, and I had it looking all cool, and I'm happy with that. I am very much still happy with that. But I think I want to have a pop of like a really nice vibrant color, and I haven't decided if I want that to be like a nice bright green or if I want it to be red or a blue. And I was thinking the one Tau actual like a legitimate scheme in their lore is red, and I've been having so much fun painting red lately. I might do that. Red's another color that's hard. So if I had a white and red armor army, you're looking at two challenging colors that are so visually appealing to look at a distance. I think it would be quite eye-catching. Let's continue with this here. We're gonna go get some fresh paint. This is drying up. Jex, how was your evening? I know you're working out usually in the morning. I'm not trying to steal you away from that early morning pump. Chicks likes to get jacked for that tan bod. This is roughly water. There's nothing here. Chick says, nah, I haven't started yet. Making some coffee. Yes, that's good. Oh my lord. Do we have any paint over here? Is it just water on a palette? Oh yeah, there it is. There it is. So yeah, if anybody tries to follow along and they're not, I don't know what the term might be, even adept with the wet palette, just understand I'm not either. Shine My Helmet says, a happy Big Friday, dude. Well, welcome on in. My guy. We're glazing transitions today. While we're at it, just like everything else, could be smoother. Let's smooth out this side as well. So again, this is just that mid-tone. Ka-chow. I'm gonna add a little bit of white to our mixture and glaze it back a bit with a brush load of water. We'll check that dilution again before we put it on. See how opaque we're being. Tactical. Oh, wait a second. Jack says, morning is beautiful. Skies are finally clear around here. Oh, that's good. You've been having a lot of storms lately? Tactical says, luckily, I just got Washington State hurricane warning today. Ugh, Lord. That's just a hurricane. All right. Becoming exceedingly efficient with garbage like this. Make sure we're in focus for this. Tapping with my finger to make sure that that transition is smooth. Reestablishing our highlight now that we have a smooth gradient. We're going to do the same thing over here. Pulling the brush down because at the bottom is where we want to deposit the most paint. Just gonna smooth feather this transition on this side with a clean brush. And on the back, we're gonna do the same little trick. Just make sure we're feathered here at the end of that. And then now we're up in here in this mess. Pull it towards where the highlight is. Soft touches. Let the glaze kind of be fluid. Thinner is better. You go too thin though, it's going to take you a lifetime to get the effect, but you can always put down a second coat. You lay down some thick opaque paint, you're going to have a bad time. You're going to start from scratch. If anybody was following along while I was working on this power swords lately, which is just this but bigger and more complicated. I'm sure you watched me paint them 2, 3, 4 days in a row, each day painting them different ways, getting them to a good spot, want to take them to the next level, and ruining them time after time. beautiful thing. But if we keep it thin, now we're doing the same thing, but I'm just doing a little bit of the same piece. I'm not going the whole way here, right? We'll treat that as our new transition point. I'm going to come through here and push it back again. Because colors look brighter over top of themselves than they will over top of that neutral black gray. Pixie, good morning. How are you as well? Hope you've been having an all right week as we pull into the warmer months here. I know you said you had a cold one recently. I don't know what your weather looks like this time of year, but it has to be better. It's always better. Pixie says, I am okay. It is much better. You know, I've had not a lot of, but, you know, a handful of people have been talking about 26 degrees Fahrenheit. Nice light jacket, huh? Go daddy tactic. Go daddy tactic. Alright, so we got that transition going on each side. Well, I don't think we punched up the back of the model just yet, so we'll start on that. So I'm at 80 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius, my bad. Yes. Yes. Yes, 80 is much nicer than 26. And 26, for us, that's below freezing. Oh, Wig Face, good morning. So yeah, it's warm here, but it's so windy. We've had a lot of wind here, too. It's been a lot of rain as well. Jack says, I was about to say, Pixie, that's a little cold for this time of year. Like, whoa. Pixie does live where the Vikings came from, so I was like, that seems odd, but I guess maybe. Shine My Helmet says a fellow Scandinavian, eh? Again, we're just doing these in smaller and smaller bursts. Foxmeyer says we have about 14 Celsius. That's wild. I think it's a nice blend, looking good on most fronts. We need to add a bit of depth here in the middle on either side because comparatively now it's just one tone the rest of the way back. I kind of lost the mid. So I want to make sure that we're doing this with some dilution. We want to have a little bit of transparency in our paint is the point of this. That's why we're glazing it, is so that it doesn't just cover up the previous tones and instead will allow for some kind of transition. Alright, this is good. Let's take a second. We are in focus. Let's try to do this. Again, we're going to pull towards the darker tone. In this case, we're trying to establish a mid. So that, in this case, means probably just some stippling. That's how you know you got the fade right, when it looks good from the bottom as well as the top. It's usually my good new perspective. When you flip the model to paint a different aspect of it, and you get like a, oh god, you're not the piece I was painting. You're another model. You're something else. And then this part here at the very back, we're going to try to establish like some pure black. Pixie shouts out to Wigface. Hello, hello. See how many runaways I'm getting? That's how dry the paint is. It's probably because I should add some more water to the wet palette, I would say. Pixie says I am from the Netherlands. Wigface says England here. The levers. The levers. Enough politics. Listen. It's a fairly thin glaze, but I think what I'm realizing is that I need to establish a better mid-tone. We just haven't got it. It's too dark. And so I think what this is going to cause is a brighter overall blade. Because I'm going to put this color down and then I'm going to push the highlight at the point. Which I think is a good thing. I gotta get some water in this because this paint is so thirsty. Whenever you do something like that, you want to rinse your brush out because it's going to be just so loaded up. And then grab. Ink's tossing those hugs around. Inks has a headache, everybody. If anybody's getting some hugs, it should be Inks. Alright. Now we're going to try and establish this color. If I keep it glazed back like that, it's going to take too long, I think. So perhaps we'll just try to be clever. Do it with a little bit thicker paint. Just stippling it in. Because we're still quite diluted. And we'll just let it set. Do the same thing on all four sides. Yeah, that color is very close to our highlight tone, but I think that's okay. I think we'll just take our lesson and brighten our highlight. that's going to have to dry. Wigface says, I don't do politics. Pixie says, Nomadic, how is your Tau coming along? I haven't made any progress, but I was saying earlier that I have settled on doing them in a white and red armor. I've been having so much fun painting the red that I don't know if you were around for this before, but I took the reds that I practiced so much on Sorsha. Let's just pan out here. Well, that's drying. Let's get rid of the rocking boat syndrome here. So for those that were around while we did this, there's a lot of glazing and a lot of back and forth to get it to be so smooth. But I think there's a way to get this to look as vibrant at a distance. It'll be a little rough you get up on close. Like, you can magnify this all you like. It's gonna stay smooth. But I thought, is there a way to do this quickly? And I painted a squad with the airbrush up to this point very quickly. And I'm thinking that if I don't know if I want to go red with white accents or white with red. I like the white. What we came up with before and I was sharing, if you remember that drone, I think that would be a really nice armor for the Tau. But do I want it to be all white with red accents or red with the white accents? It would involve a two-part painting process where I would go through, paint them all their accent color with the airbrush to keep it smooth, and then mask it off, and then come back through with the primary color. You think of red with the white? My God, I love the look. I love that look. That Tau, it's not Tau CD. Tau CD's a yellow one. What's the red one? Something Conclave? Oh, Jex. If I can have your attention, please. It arrived yesterday. For anybody interested in how these work, Farsight Conclave, that's the one. I think they're the red ones, right? Let's find a separated one. Sunny skin tone. What a better use of our time while we're chatting. Which is the army of Siegler, all red. Those guys are black belts at gaming. They are not black belts at painting. I'll tell you that. The cash money command doesn't work. First off, that's a well-mixed paint. Second off, better work? What's that about? Cash money. You know, this happened the other day with Streamlabs. I had to actually, even though I haven't been logged into Streamlabs in however long, I had to log into it, turn off the CloudBot. Yeah, he's on. I'd turn him off. Turn him on again. And there it is. I don't know what that's about. Yeah, I literally had to go in, turn him off, and turn him on again. Straight cash. I haven't used this yet, and I've been hesitant to shake this one because it's got a glass dropper, but I think that because it's connected to a rubber nub, it'll be fine. But if it breaks off in here, then we'll know. But look at that. Roll it. little bit of sediment in the bottom. This thing's pretty cool. The white with the teal dice are out of stock, and so they are, I'm on the list for when they come in. But they were shut down for a while with all the pandemic going on, and he said he couldn't give me a time frame, but he said, I imagine before July was his statement. And so I'm getting the green and gold because I like that. I like those colors for me. They're good. And then I also like the red and blue. So I'm gonna yeah. Those ones I liked a lot. And so, but he said they're still like 2 months out on orders. So we got to wait and see how that goes through. But hopefully they're under promising and going to over deliver on that front. Let's see if that did any damage to that dropper. None whatsoever. Yeah, I mean it's going to be what it's going to be. You know, I can't get too mad at anybody for having to. You know, we're all surviving this thing, right? But yeah, that's the state of that. And apparently, you and I, Pixie, we like a popular color. But we're gonna get them for sure. I like those a lot. And a testament to my camera mount, this thing doesn't seem to be shaking my face too badly when I run it. Collect your cash and stay awesome. Oh yeah, we're gonna do that. Ooh, and I got boxes for the hobby box. So I got stickers for you. We're gonna have to hold off. Dice are gonna have to come in the second box this year, but we'll make up for that. I'm gonna get some extras. We'll get them in there. And we got the hobby holder. And there was something else I got. Oh, I got magnets. So I'll get you some magnets in there for bases. Check says, I'm going to have to get a Vortex, bye-bye money, but my forearm will be happy. Yeah, it does a good job. I don't know. I think that's what, like, honestly, people that retail paint, I think that's how they do it. They just gather up whatever your order is and give it 3 minutes on the shaker, because whenever I get an online ordered paint, it always comes so perfect. But when I buy out of the shop, sometimes it's separated real bad. Like if you owned a shop, that would be the move. Just whenever somebody buys a paint, and then put it in a bag for them. Doesn't matter if it's better or not. I think with a little agitator, you'd be in a good place. I'm going to mix up a nice shadow color here with the Sanguine base and this Blood Tracker brown. A little touch of coal black. I like to have colors everywhere when I use them. Pixie says, start a paint shaking company. Hey, just send me your paints, I'll shake them up for you. I'll ship them back, nice and mixed. That's funny. That might actually be something, Pixie. That's possibly the worst part of that. We will revive your paint. Throw a little dilution in there. Just gotta keep up with that demand, you know. Alright, so we're just gonna lay this down in the recesses a bit. Got this knotted area up here at the top. So I'm going try and get quite a bit in there. Can always re-highlight around it, but I want to make sure it's covering fairly opaquely. And then anywhere that's touching the glove, I'm going to kind of dark line that with some shadow. Awesome, I want those stickers. You got something going. Yeah, and Pixie, before anything happens, I'll reach out and ask what sticker you want. Unless you want to tell me right now. This week, the straight cash sticker comes in. Finally got the straight cash sticker ordered. And we'll have 4 options for you. We got what? We got A, and we got oh god. I don't know why, but like that one might be my favorite. But yeah, that cash money sticker's coming in. Slightly modified from the emote. The emote has like a neutral gray P because it's so small. But for the sticker, we added, we made it gold, the Pittsburgh yellow. Pixie says, excluded shipment. Want them all. We'll pay for the rest. Just tell me how much you want. Oh yeah, you want one of each? I'll toss them in there. Yeah, I got plenty. Alright, let's get the shadow tone in here a little bit more. Again, we're just bolstering where the light would not be hitting to create some transition to make it more appealing to look at the front of the model. It's just a little trick to make the back of the model less interesting than the front. That is all. Let me clean this out of there. Quite a bit of shadow tone. I don't want to in any way bring that to the front. Okay. Chick says, walk around with a wallet full of cash money stickers. Leave them as a tip everywhere you go. Yeah, as long as you leave an actual tip. You can't just tip with the sticker. That's silly. What do we have here? Hang on a second. All right. Jack says the look on people's face would be priceless. My one friend, my one coworker, I took them a couple of the stickers. My buddy does graphic design. Actually, there are 2 graphic designers. The head of their department, and then his. We had the other lady. She was hired as like a temporary person, and then like she's really good. So she, she's hung around. and we get lunch often, and they've helped me design. Like my buddy Evan, he did the banner for my Patreon page. He's helped me do so much. He helped me convert all these emotes over so that they're in a format that I could get them ordered as stickers. So I hooked them up with the ones that they wanted, but she didn't use the sticker. Like, she never put it on her phone. She just slid it into her phone case, and a guy that works at one of our stores asked for it. He's like, oh, I want that. So I got to get her a replacement. We're just saturating this red in around these shadow tones. I like saturated colors. Kind of a nut for it. So if you ever see me desaturating something, it's because I'm trying to draw your eye away from it. Great promo, Wicked. Love the idea. Favorite emote ever, man. Straight cash. The best part about that is I gave the guy that designed them, I gave him the emotions that I wanted, and he came back with 2 extras. He came back with the straight cash, and he came back with the superhero. And he missed the mark on one of the things I wanted, which was the fear. He missed the mark. This wasn't what I wanted initially, and so I sent him back that picture of Detective Pikachu all in the corner. And he's like, okay, I'll come back. I got what you need. But he was like, these two. He had the like I said, the straight cash and the superhero. And he was like, listen, these are from a previous job that they didn't pay for, and I reworked it for you, if you like. If not, no big deal. I was like, actually, that straight cash is so not me. It's perfect. Jex keeps telling me it is me, but like, it just doesn't come off that way, you know? Let's see. Yeah, I think our glazes have dried enough for sure at this point. Kind of come back through. I'm just going to grab a little bit of black and white here. We want to keep it. Oh, that's way too much black. Hang on. We're going to need to go a lot brighter. And now, Jix says, don't believe him. It's him. We're going to try to edge highlight this. This is the whole trick with a blade like this. Make sure I don't have too much paint on my brush. Another coat. I'll get the music here in a second. Or a Ford F-150. Okay, wait. Got a Ferrari in front of his door or a Ford F-150. I drive a Honda. All crazy. Let's put that. Honda Civic. I used to drive a Honda Civic. Now it's an Accord. We've upgraded to the Accord. Clan Wolf rolling in with a subscription. Good morning, Clan Wolf. I hope you've been well. Oh, let's come back into focus here. Just edge. Highlighting this dagger. Says Clan Wolf, good day to you, sir. Good day, good day. I have to take a brief pause here in a few moments. See my wife out the door, and I'll be back. I'm gonna wrap up this dagger. Ooh, we didn't smooth out the transitions over here. We'll get to that. We'll do that too. Side of the brush. Don't let anybody tell you different. If you ever catch me cracking jokes about how you never use the side of your brush to highlight, it's because I listened to somebody attempting to give professional advice and they suggested to never do it, and I turned them off immediately because that's silliness. Silliness, I tell you. Yo to the wolf. All right, guys, guys and gals, give me a few moments. I will be back. Good morning, good morning. All right, where were we? Oh yeah, we're edge highlighting this little dagger. And you can see here where I wasn't clean with it. It kind of encroached on the blade. And over here, these are a rubbery sculpt. Over here you can see we've got a wonky line down the middle, but it's a straight line. It's just the way the sculpt is. I think it's fine. Now, I think we're going to do some stone colors. I guess it'll be like the extra credit portion. I'm going to mix up some Cricksbane base. It's like a slatey green. Don't mind this. Clanwolf knows what I'm talking about. Oh yeah. Chick says that vortex sound. What's it sound like? Take that color. What else? What else would look nice? Do I have a blue-gray? I do. I have Skavenblight Dinge. And I have Storm Vermin Fur. These don't have very much blue in them. These are kind of the same kind of tones. So that's no good to me. You're no good to me. Wow. Now it says Dark Reaper is the gray that has blue in it. Just buzzing in my ears. I'll mute it, Jax. Stop that thing. I don't think I actually have a blue-gray. Well, hello, Dovahking. Can't think about what the color was. This is terrible. But yeah, let's take some of that Cricksbane base here. Let me glaze it back a lot. Like a lot. Two big old brush loads of water. What we're gonna do, so I'm just gonna let this wash into the base on the outskirts. Alright, and then we're gonna do the same thing to the highlight. We're going to wash it in closer to his feet, because in that way maybe it'll make it a little bit brighter around him. There's kind of like a spotlight of situation. I'm sorry about hitting the mic. I'm not happy with that, so I'm going to grab a little bit more. We'll let that dry. Sammy Grace rolling in. Good morning, Sammy. How are you? Grabbing some of that saturated brown again like we just did to the satchel. And we're going to do the same thing to his boots. Just add another layer of this to kind of bolden up. I'm going to use the side of the brush again. Pick out these, just the toes of the shoe, his little cartoon feet that he has. Again, Again, we're just trying to get a vibrant color out there on the toe. We'll let it grab some of that shadow tone that we mixed up. We'll kind of fade them together as it goes to the back of the shoe and to the bottoms. Again, we're only desaturating into the shadows because we don't want them to be interesting to look at, but you still need it to be smooth transition. Otherwise, it looks like you just painted the toe of the shoe a different color than the rest of it. So over here it's kind of dry because that was my mistake. I waited too long. Let's lay that shadow tone in. Wet. And we'll grab the new color. So here what happened is I grabbed too much and it kind of overtook things. So we're going to mix up that shadow color again. And then get a nice fade. And that's how you fix that. Number one thing with wet blending, you have to have enough paint to get it to blend together or it won't. The blend won't work. Sorry, I have a itchy nose here. Hang on a second. Jack shouting out to Sammy. Says, Jack says, AFK for 3 minutes, need more body fuel. Yeah. See if Jex is accurate on the count. Baphomet says, just checked out your Insta and I'm impressed. Well, thank you. I try to keep it consistent. You know, I like to hold my model up above my train wreck of a desk. Let people see what I'm working on. Looks very unedited. I walked away with my coffee and didn't bring it back. This is not good. I'm not going to even mute. I'm just going to go get it. You can hear me still talking, but this is not cool. How not okay is this? Carry the cup away. Oh no, it was not good. But yeah, Baphomet. Well, any projects you were liking? I've possibly made some progress on. Like Pyram here, since I put him up on Monday, back in time to see him forget his coffee. Oh, don't worry about it, Jex. We're good. We fixed it. But yeah, I got this nice smooth fade going now. We've glazed the transitions. And I think he's overall in a good place for a cartoon funny little dude. Possibly just to ice this cake, we're going to add a little bit of water to this, not that much. It's kind of fuzzy on the brush. Also just touching the pulled up areas on the crevices. So when I come through here, I'm like letting this kind of run into the recesses because it is super fluid. And things are still wet up there. We'll add another coat to this as needed once it dries a little. We're going to do a little more manual application here. Doesn't need to be super crisp because they're stones, but you know, we learned What have we learned in this process? That blue, dark desaturated blues can look really, really nice as shadow colors in green. We didn't add any kicker colors that would be like very vibrant from the other side of the color wheel, but you could. There's one thing with color theory that does look good, like a magenta would look very good on this model. But we're not going to get too complicated with these. I think we're going to stick with this. We chose a redder brown, so red is from the other side. That's why that nice saddle leather looks good. We learned more about how to do smooth blends with green and how to highlight without making him turn yellow. And again, with these models, when you keep the back sides of the miniature darker, you can look around and say, like, okay, so we got some nice smooth transitions here. Cool. Nothing really to see back here. But the appealing part to look at is going to be in the face. And we've taken the time to do that. And it's not like, again, we're not painting sloppily back here. We've just made it not interesting. That's the point. You're well done, disinteresting, boom. And the dagger's a little wonky because I made a mistake up there, and we'll just leave it. Are we gonna leave it? If I try to fix this and it goes badly, I'm gonna break down. Glazing back some black. I love his little smile, to be honest. Tactical says, are you going to paint the numbers? The numbers, I just kind of darkened them. They are recessed in. I made the 4 darker than the 3 and the 3 darker than the 1. Clan Wolf says, gonna need a nap today. I need a nap most days, Clan Wolf. I'm on board with that. Sometimes I wonder how the workday would go if everybody just, like, after your break, you got a 30-minute nap. Like, everybody lay down, be quiet for a little bit. Kill the lights. Not gonna be dealing with any of this stress. Yeah, it might be nice. To your question, Tactical, I think that going through and painting the numbers could be good, but I think you would have to be focusing and detailing out the 360 of the model. And I felt like one of the more important things to do here would be to focus on how to bring attention to a specific part of it. Because I know there's a lot of people in here that do army painting. And that's one of the biggest rules when you're painting an army, is that you want to, you don't have the time to focus on the details of 1,000 men. You gotta focus on the details of the ones that you can control, or the details on the models you can control. Oh, this line is gonna drive me bonkers. All right. Look at that. Better. Smooth. Jack says, like in Spain, pass out for a siesta. Yes. At least that's what my teacher told me, that they take a nap at work, unless he was BSing me and just wanted to sound like a fool throughout my life. I'm pretty confident that they actually take Not just like a nap at work, but like they take, like, go home for a while. But yeah, that's Pyram the pincher. Next one we'll do is going to be the color purple. We're going to work our way through the secondaries, and we're going to work our way up in numbers. So the next one is the Bard, the D6. Where will I get all this off of here? We have to redo the black, and where I just grabbed it like a mutant. Way too aggressive with it. I don't think I even need to put this. My Adidas here. Where's he at? Oh. So yeah, next up to bat, it's gonna be Alien. I don't know how you say his name. He's so fun. He's got a cool hat. Be able to do a Robin Hood style hat for him. Since we did the red leather with the green, maybe we'll do a nice golden brown with the purple. Purple's a challenging color. This one's going to be interesting. Sam used to think of food. Sweet food, I remember thee. This plastic is interesting to work with. It tears so easy. Like normally on a mold line like this, I would just take my blade and scrape it off. But it's so malleable that if you're not making like a clean cut, it will leave a tear. I don't know if anybody else does the drag with their blade to clean things off, but with this plastic, everything needs to be a cut. I don't even know how files would work with this from like a competitive standpoint. Jack says, K, that won't give me nightmares. What? Jack says, eggs and bacon. That's a good one. Now says, nice over easy eggs, right, Jax? Ugh, what are you two on about? Files dig in and leave marks, says Clan Wolf. You need something like a nail file. Yeah, something super smooth. I don't know what this, like I said, this plastic, it's interesting. The price is right. I don't love that it's the reason why people accept it, but that's going to be a habit I'm going to have to break while working with this. Luckily, he's not too bad. We got a little bit of a line right across here between the feather and the brim, runs straight across. And then we already cleaned up a little bit of this marring here. We've got some along his boot. And it tracks up. I don't know how far. Let's get the boot cleaned up. It's also got like a dimple in it, which is weird. We have your Jex. It seems Chris is with you. Both of you not liking over easy. I like an over easy egg. Is that why Jex made the yuck face? Is it just because it was a dippy egg? Jex says, so how many dice are there in that line? So it's a set of the D&D dice. So there's, in that kit, there's a D4, which we've seen, and he's a rogue, so he's a D&D class. Then the D6 is a bard, the D8 is a hunter, then the D10 is a cleric, and then you have the mage is the D12, and then the fighter is a D20. Jex, I'm a team, how do I say this? Tactical says I like poached. We get to, now we on egg talk. Wicked Jexter says, thank God I found someone else that's not into funny eggs. Runny eggs. Tactical likes poached eggs. Jex says, how many dice in the kit? Yep, sorry. Clamov says, today is going to be scrambled eggs, bacon, and Polish sausage. Jex says, oh man, you runny eggs team as well. Fight, fight, fight. Yeah, I like eggs. I'm not dogmatic about how I eat them. I think different eggs are for different occasions. Most of the time I'm eating scrambled. But if I was going to, for example, mage is a D12, heresy. You don't like the D12? The cool thing about the mage is he comes with a little familiar. He's a baby D6. It's super tiny. But yeah, if I was going to make a bowl, like a common breakfast for dinner meal for me would be, like, I would fry up some potatoes in little, like, home fried chunks, and then scramble, like, some sausage. Like, just brown it, like, way brown it, almost burn it, and then put that in a bowl, crack, like, 2 over easy eggs on it for the yolk, and then, like, stir it up. And that's real good. Taylor says, I like sopping up runny yolks with a biscuit. See, Tactical knows what it is. Clem says, D12 is a barbarian's die. That would be a good pick. They don't have a barbarian. And I think each one of these is made after a staffer as well. So I think that's more over what happened. Nobody was a barbarian, and so they didn't make it in. Which is a shame. Back in the day, my move was always to take a level of barbarian and then take the rest as fighter. Because let's be honest, back when you got all the cool functions of being a barbarian in the beginning. And after that, just give me feats. Give me feat almost every level. It's like if you wanted to be a bard. Technically, you're just a defective sorcerer. So take your level of bard, get the good bard stuff, and then go be a sorcerer. Be useful. Tactical says, yep, about the biscuit. Jex says, I like scrambled or fried. I want to make sure the yellow won't grow feathers. Jex, it's an unfertilized egg. It's unfertilized. It can't ever turn into a chicken. D6 is the mage. Jex says, so the number of D is the number of sides. Yes. A 6-sider is a D6. 4-sider is a D4. That's correct. Jex says, sorry I don't play, so I don't have an idea. Yeah, so if you were going to play a game of D&D, you would need to buy a D20 dice set. And it would come with all these things we're talking about, and it would have 2 D10s. So you can make percentile happen. There's the guy. He's so freaking cool. Do I have glue on my desk? I don't know if I do. Glue's been borrowed. Not good. Not good at all. Well, the only thing is we won't be putting him together. There's plenty of time for that. Oh wait, here we go. We have glue coming out of places. A little Loctite. Now it says unless you play Shadowrun, then you need a pound of D6s. If it's White Wolf, a pound of D10s. D6s always make sense because most games require them, and then you can just have a bunch. Ah! What's this now? Says to White Wolf. Oh, love. Where are we at here? Nope, we're caught up. Just gonna use my paper towel to dry up the excess of this. Suppose we can do some priming. My airbrush is clean. Let's have a look. I don't know where my other airbrush is. About to break out the Patriot to prime this little dude. Feels excessive. Badger Steinel res, except no substitutes. Plaintiff says Exalted being the biggest offender of the D10s. Well, they got to deal with the D10s? They got like stock in D10s? What's happening? This thing's pretty cool. I don't know if it's $100 cool, but it's pretty damn cool. All right. Let's see if we can manage to sling an appropriate amount of paint here. Just punch out here for a bit. Pow. Let's also move the peanut gallery back a bit. Jake says the Vortex is $100. It's not $100. It's $80. Again, when people are donating and they with that intention, you get the item. Now it's really cool, and I do want one. I just didn't want to buy one, and donation goals were matched, and that was that. I'm just gonna spray a little air here, make sure none of that catalyst spray is still chilling. Shouldn't be. And a couple of little test sprays. All right. Yeah, we jamming. Way too much paint. Way used to the Sotar where I can be super close. This actually isn't going to work out. I'm thinking this thing needs scrubbed first. Ugh. Yeah, cancel that idea. Maybe I can go scrub it real quick. Give me just like 2 seconds. Was not thinking this morning when I started off with this and cracked it out of the case. This plastic has definitely got way too much mold release on it. Paint running everywhere. What do we miss? Tactical says, anyone else use the percentile dice as regular D10s? Raise his hand. Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, Tactical. There's no reason not to, I would say. Jack says, I'm definitely going to get one. I hadn't looked at the prices, but it looks like it's worth the money. Stirs are good, but the fact that I need to clean them so I don't get cross-contaminations of paint. And I just hate running the risk of, like, spewing paint everywhere. Sotero88 says, all of the time in Magic the Gathering, too. Yeah. D10s and percentiles make great life counters. This is way better. And we'll use the air here to continue drying this guy. But we'll also enjoy his home here, just like Pyram did. Sorry about encroaching on the camera with my face. Now that we pushed all the water up front, make sure we collect it. It doesn't just run around the model on us. Yeah, eventually I graduated to a piece of paper, which does a really good job at keeping your life, but what else are you going to use all those D10s for? Like some Pinky in the Brain stuff. Like, but where are we going to get all the rubber pens? Alright. Don't make the same mistakes as me. Wash your models ahead of time. Probably going to find some water here. Didn't dry completely. It's just going to be a whole mess. So, learn from my lessons. Just wash the models. I know some people are naysayers. Clam Wolf. think so. What? What about the burlap? Either missed something massive or that's a mistell. Pinky in the Brain. Oh, God. I need to watch more Pinky in the Brain. I grew up in without cable. Like, I grew up that far out. And I remember, like, kids would be talking about whatever cartoons they're watching, Nickelodeon stuff, and I would, like, have to become a chameleon and, like, listen and be like, oh, yeah, no, I totally caught that. And then, like, later on in the day, I'd bring it up. That was so good. There's one other kid in my school that grew up out where I did, playing the same game. I never watched one episode of Salute Your Shorts. But had to make off like I did. Just spray a little air here. Start the curing process. A little bit of that side. I think we got up under there pretty well. What am I going to say about? Oh, washing your models. Jack Snow scrubs his Games Workshop pieces. Tactical says, I used to watch that show like crazy. Yeah, everybody did. That's why I had to pretend to know what the hell they were talking about. I grew up without it. Jack says, and oh, wait a second, what's that? It says that when some shade thrown at Clamwolf, yeah, it was. And when I think about you, it makes me want to fart. What the hell? Yeah, I don't watch my G-Dub stuff. And you don't watch G-Dub stuff, and I can't convince Justin over at Amp Services to use his wet palette often enough. All right. Always try to give a little bit better cleaning when I'm going to transition from black to white in the airbrush here. Zombie Dance Team Leader says, morning. Yeah, I've been getting up later lately, but not today. How have you been, pal? I've been well. Tactical says, seek the plumber. Listen. We are all right. We're in here doing some work. Just got done with our first piece in our paint along series. We're taking a few moments here to prep the next part of the paint series. And so to do that, we're going to use, this is how, for those of you interested, this is how we do the zenithal priming. It takes some Liquitex ink. Let's not mix it like a peasant. Look out. Here it is. Vortex elitism. And because ink is so thin, we're going to add a little ultra matte varnish. Jex, I couldn't get this out in your chat the other day. The user that was trying to talk about how much... What were they struggling with? They were using Pro Acryl through their airbrush with a 1-to-1 mixture of Flow Aid. Flow Aid is supposed to be like a 20-to-1 dilution with water. Not 1-to-1 used with paint, ever. So what we're going to do is I'm going to add 3 drops of this. should, yeah, maybe 4. Because this airbrush is so big, and I don't have my Sotar. Sorry about that. This may not work with this big old airbrush. I'm going to warn everybody up front. This may be happening twice. All right. Add 1, 2, 3, 4. I have to mix up so much because the cup's so big. And then we're going to add a little bit of my airbrush dilution mixture here. This is just 90% distilled water to 10% isopropyl. I just used the measures on the side. This is the other thing we're talking about, Jex. So I put this 90-to-1 to fill it up the whole way, and I just add a couple drops of Flow Aid. Just a couple. It wasn't gobble. Add a little bit of water or our dilution mixture to that. And we're going to take our beat up brush here. Make sure I don't have any black or gray we've been working with. Alright. Mix this up. But I don't know with this size of brush, needle, that I'm going to be able to keep things super subtle. But we're going to see what can happen here. So I'm just doing tiny, tiny bursts. These are way big bursts. It's not going to be very smooth. With a fine needle loadout, you can do very, very fine sprays. I like that a lot more. But with the dilution on the paint, and you're already using an ink which is super thin, you can get quite a nice coverage. And it builds up rather slowly. Vihangawa. I sprayed more last night. I think it may be that one color produces those weird results. That could well be. Yeah, this is unloading just a boatload of this color, and so it's not going to look super smooth. But let me get just a little bit of this down here. We'll leave it at that. I'm not going to be able to pick out any tighter details on account of the size of the needle on this. But yeah, that I'm pretty sure that Vallejo Flow Aid that you were working with is a 20-to-1 dilution. You're supposed to dilute that back with water and then use that mixture when you add it to your paint, instead of using it out of the bottle, for acrylics at least. So I tried a 1-to-8 flow to paint at 40 psi and it was fine. A little crazy though. I mean, Flow Aid, so you're using the term thinner, and Flow Aid is, to me, is not a thinner. Like isopropyl alcohol thins paint down, but Flow Aid just adds to the dilution, just like water. But it's mostly a soap. It's like a detergent that you're adding to the mixture. Anytime I add varnish to a mix, I like to make sure I get the whole brush. Six says, Tackle Booty, I'm always getting called a weak flow? Oh no. who we got on today on this fine Friday. It is raid worthy. Let's check out here. Aaron J. Bang is still on. That's what my dog said. It got that weak flow. Dance team. Goodness. Tyrannic Veteran. Let's raid the Veteran. I haven't raided Tyrannic Veteran in a very long time. We'll get this boat in the water. Thank you all for joining me today while we wrapped up Pyram. It was a fun little project. I enjoyed doing the smooth blending, working on a couple little details, but mostly the principle of how to focus your details so that your models are more appealing to look at, where you want to spend the time, and how to make them look less appealing so you can spend less time in other areas. There it is. All right, let's get this raid out, and everybody have an enjoyable weekend, and we'll catch you on Monday. Jack says, okay, peace out. Good stream, man. I'll hang for the raid. Thank you. Zombie says, balls, need to start waking up even earlier. Well, have a good one. Pixie, thank you so much, everybody, for the support. The Angawa, the Dova King for the follows. Well, Dova King with the host. Tommy Vulgar says, cheers. Thank you so much. Everybody have a good one.